these shields for, and it just gets better and better and better as the months and years roll on, because you get, you know, new situations, new experiences. You put another tool in the toolbox, and
there it is.
There it is. It's no surprise whatsoever. It is a nod to Julio and his ability, particularly on this map, but with the shield operators. I think, you know, respect well played from Team Liquid. Good move. Let's get on with the game now.
Thatcher ban coming out as well is normally followed up by a Kai ban, although with the Maverick still available here, you may have the option to circumvent that one and not bother banning it away. NMP stepping in with their defensive ban. This one is going to be the mirror coming out. We spoke about this a little bit and of course saw it in the North Sky reveal that there is a small change coming through to her black mirrors and that you can walk up to them and melee them to shatter the glass. Obviously, the question then stands, how often is an operator going to be able to walk up to the Black Mirror and smash it? That's another question entirely. The Clash going to be the final ban coming out. We said we might see both of them coming in. Liquid paying the same respect to NIP as what MIBR did yesterday.
Absolutely, that with the having none of the shields, are they? We're loading into round one then. We're going to be going into Clubhouse. So far, we've seen one map each, but of course, NIP coming through that upper bracket have a one map advantage. So up at the top of your screen, you will see two red lines next to the side of NIP and one next to the side of Liquid, saying that overall in this best of five, this first to three maps, NIP currently sit 2-1 and require just one more map to close out the Six Invitational 2021, but the momentum right now is most certainly with Team Liquid after they had a great showing on Chalet. Now, we talk about map picks, Des. We say that this is NIP's map pick. Clubhouse, it's barely relevant. I would say for Clubhouse and Oregon, particularly as two maps,
every team can play them.
It should be irrelevant who has picked it. If you don't have a good Clubhouse, if you don't have a good Oregon, if you're not capable on these maps, you're not going to make it to this point in the Six Invitational. So that to me goes out of the window a little bit. This is now about desire. It's about passion, Des. It's about emotion. It's about getting into the map and winning the game for your team.
It's like we said a couple of times yesterday, the emotion of the LATAM teams, they just want it. The teams, the excitement, the energy they bring is such a big piece of this. And what do you do when two teams with that same kind of energy come together? Only one way to find out, and that's to get to the end of this best of five. Starting things out then in the basement, the Mute and the Mozzie stepping along. Again, a big lean towards C4 play coming out of Liquid. But with this comp often, you'll see a roam up onto the top floor. The Mute and the Mozzie, known drone dangers is the way I'd probably describe them. The Pest can capture them for the Mozzie, or the Mute Jammers can disable the drones and render them unusable. Often you'll see those starting on the top floor. The attackers are able to drone them out, then have to run into blind gunfights. It is not a desirable outcome. You've also got Nesk up here, mind you, playing on the Valkyrie. So three members starting out on the top floor. A very aggressive start, of which I think NIP will struggle to ignore. Psycho comes in and finds one, but instantly gets himself put down by Moringa, who's going to step round and collect that trade kill back. Not an awful start.
Honestly, that trade from Moringa, I cannot stress the importance of that there, with three players committed to the top floor for Team Liquid, leaving the site very, very light in terms of manpower. It was essential that they didn't come out with a negative entry on this round, and losing that first player of Nesk was a concern, but Palu, he manages to find one, and right now the top floor roam is starting to pay off. Palu and Moringa, they jump over the banister, Des, they're off, they are back down, and this is well played from Team. I was really concerned, I've almost lost my way in the round. I was really concerned when that first kill went in onto Nesk. It looked like that top floor was going to be swept across from NIP, but no, Team Liquid, they've got themselves back onto site. Four men established, they can turtle defense now, and they're just going to wait for the pressure to come from NIP. You've got some work to do.
Well, you've lost the Zofia, who normally you would see come pushing in down blue, out towards the east of the basement, but without her on side, without the concussions, without the impacts, without the extra operator, I guess, to contest the angle, it's going to make life a little bit easier for the side of Liquid on the defense here. So that's what you're looking to see as the setup here. The hatch not being fully opened up by the looks of it needs another round. Another couple of those X-Kairos going on there. 4 X-Kairos will open a hatch, but it gets re-electrified. The danger you've got is that with the Hibana at this point, when she's got 18 charges, can just do 2 at a time. There is no way you can keep on doing this forever. What they really need to get, in my mind, is either the Maverick doing his job job, or a grenade, I was going to say, from main stairs, but through the hole works as well to get rid of the grenade and then get things opened up. That's what they're going to start setting up for. The death box, the coffin, it comes singing over and it finds one. It could have been two. 4 versus 2 for Team Liquid. 30 seconds. They've got to make it happen, but Sexy Cake makes it happen a little bit quicker. Kamikaze gets the trade in, but he's all alone. Has no idea where the men are as well. They're all going to peek him out one at a time, it feels. They'll win the gunfights. That's the kind of start you want to see for Team Liquid.
Perfect defense of the basement from Team Liquid there. I was, as I said, concerned as with that 3-man commitment upstairs. It just left them so light on sight, but NIP didn't seem to recognise or to choose to take the option to maybe think, actually, let's just get into sight here. Let's go for the dirt tunnel rush. Let's go for the blue stairs rush and just see if we can win out those early gunfights and then pick off the roamers as they return. It's not always as simple as that. I understand that, but going in there and losing 2 men on the top floor, Team Liquid able to get themselves back down, and then we saw the command that they had of the situation downstairs. They were basically picking up kills at will as the round went on. They had the nitro to the bottom of the main stairs, and when it was down to Kamikaze, all 3 guns were pointed at him. They knew exactly where he was. There was nothing he could do.
We always comment on roams, basically a multifaceted part of the game. Wasting time is your #1 piece. You want to kill some drones as the attackers, are trying to drone you out, find out where you are. You take away some of that information, it makes their late round a little more difficult, but you're also consuming time from them. They have less time to think about their execute onto site, and in better cases, they're burning things like utility to try and clear you out. They're even losing members in the process, and I think once Liquid confirmed that second kill onto Muzi, they were saying, right, we have got 2 kills on the roam. We know with 3, they are not going to be able to get a fully coherent attack down onto the basement, because realistically in basement, you want a couple dropping in through kitchen hatch, you want 1 coming down main stairs at least, you want 1 coming down blue. That is at least 4 that you want for a good solid attack, and if you have a 5th, you also want to be taking dirt. Really depends on where your drop and plant intent is going to come in between Church or between Arsenal. So a good call to pull back. Good enough that they didn't lose a man on the rotate back out down red, because there were a few gunshots that came ringing down as they were looking to retreat, but they simply couldn't be caught. Great defense by Liquid. In this round, though, as things start out in Cash CC, it's a little bit more direct for the attackers. They can straight away focus on getting this East Breach opened up with the Maverick and can then choose where they want to go next. They want to take garage control, Tim, or do they want to move over to construction side and get the construction wall open?
Well, they will find some resistance if they do try to move over to the construction side. We've got Nesk and PSK who are currently inside of Bar. They are both down there looking to move up these main stairs. That's exactly what Nesk going to do. Oh, Des, it should have been a freebie. Nesk doesn't miss those too often. But I tell you what, Pino absolutely gets away with one there. The droning not thorough enough from NIP. They are safely established inside a master bedroom now, but only by a hair's breadth there. As Nesk misses his shots. He takes the smart decision, gets himself out of dodge, downstairs, and he will live to fight another day. But so far, this isn't bad from NIP now. They've got the East Breach open. That angle is in their possession. They've got Pino ready to play onto the CCTV window, and they are in control of construction and master.
Just slips away into the ether, disappearing down into the basement, and legs it back across the length of the map. So any chance of tailing him really is pretty much forgotten at that point. Maybe one of the kills that he'll look back on and say, man, that really could have made the difference if I connected those critical shots at the right time. A bit of a fight coming out onto main stairs, but it's Psycho to win it. Pino with the second onto Nesk. It comes back to haunt him there. The Habana coming up and killing him when Nesk had that chance earlier in the round. 5 versus 3, 1 C4 to play behind, 3 smoke canisters for the defenders, and 60 seconds to play with for the side of NIP.
NIP playing it well here, taking their time and just using the seconds available. There's still a minute left, so pace is not a problem. Out goes the Nitro completely. Will not connect with anybody there. Palu does manage to find a kill onto Julio, though. Sexy Cake onto Pino, and that leaves us now 3 versus 3 in a quick turnaround. NIP felt like they were in control of this, Des. They felt like they had the control that they needed to push onto site, but no, Kamikaze, he's forced back by the Toxic Babe canister. Psycho does find one on the garage catwalk, though. Moringa will go down from the breach. Palu, he's just holding himself aggressively right up on the breach here. It's down to the 2 remaining Team Liquid members. Palu with an important kill. Can he get a second? He sees the man. The hard ping's there. He just needs the pre-fire. No! The man comes in. Kamikaze from the window. Sexy Cake. Oh, the shotgun with a double Des. He's done it. Sexy Cake clutches out round 2. That was unbelievable back and forth from these 2 Brazilian behemoths.
Woo! Now we got a game on our hands as well in round 2. It's exploding out with a shotgun. Sexy Cake doing the hard yards in the 1 versus 2. Again, a couple of cases earlier in the round that you look at and say, Liquid really should have had some earlier kills going their way. Great pinch from NIP, by the way, from the west window in CC and the breach out towards the east to catch the man that was playing inside a garage like you're going to see here. Beautifully orchestrated. Couldn't quite get themselves going after this point, though. You thought that maybe Liquid could hold on tight enough, but Palu whiffed a few critical shots, but the man who doesn't miss. Sexy Cake with that shotgun. 2 blasts is all it takes, and he secures the round for the team. Beautiful stuff, and those are the kind of close rounds we want to see more of.
Explosive action, Des, and my heart feels like it's going to explode out of my chest after that round. Absolutely, completely and utterly energizing is the word that I would use to describe that one. 2-0 for Team Liquid and 2 successful defenses. A good start for them. But NIP, my heart bleeds for them, Des. It really does, because coming in there, they looked like they were on top of it. They were doing so well. They had great kills from that CCTV window. They got the men out of those positions that they were lodged into. They had it down to a 3 versus 2. They were ready to go in there for that final execute. And they just run into a brick wall. And you've really got a feel for NIP there.
You do. But these things happen. This time around, I think it's going to be the gym and bedroom setup, I believe. Yes, it is. Now, if you're watching this for the first time, you may be wondering, okay, well, why are they setting up out to the east again, Des? As if it was another cash CC hold. Very commonly for this site, because defending the site itself isn't the easiest. You go for this extended hold out to the east to try and wrestle control away from the attackers for 2 reasons. 1, they can't play in construction easily if you might get shot in the back. They also, as the second point, can't play on the south balcony. If defenders have control of the room down to the south called CCTV, they can control this whole south balcony through this window, as expertly demonstrated by medics. It makes it very hard and very one-directional for the attackers. So you need to get ease control before you can push across, and that, of course, is about the roaming game that we spoke about earlier on. You can waste more time for the attackers, consume operators, consume resources, consume time, so their actual execute is a little bit weaker, a little more feeble than what it could have been if they had all 5 members still alive.
Pino has opened up the logistics hatch and now has dropped down onto the south side windows. He's going to look to wait there and apply some pressure. Julio with a nade up to the top of red. It won't connect, but the shots will, as he finds the head of Nesk. And here comes the push from NIP, looking to get control over Cash now. They're getting aggressive, taking out utility as they go. Sexy Cake once again, same position as he won the last round from. On the Kaid this time, waiting for Muzi to push in. He's up on top of the table to make it a difficult angle to aggress onto. They won't expect him to be up that high. These players play thousands of hours of this game and they know exactly the head height, the crouch height, but might not allow for the fact that he's up on top of the table. Now, he will drop down, I think, as Muzi and Julio, they look to challenge in. Shut down by Pino on the angle from the south side window that I picked up on earlier. Maringo can't do anything from the construction side of things. Starting to fall apart for Team Liquid here in round 3.
How has he got away with that? 2 HP left to his name, and the man manages to slink out the hatch, get himself out towards his team, up to gym and bedroom. But you can see how the roam-busting nature of NIP there, catching 2 members out in the early round, is really going to sting, because they've got all 5 left alive, 45 seconds, which is a respectable amount of time, and you're only facing up against 3 operators, one of them being a Smoke, who has no smoke canisters left because they committed so hard to holding down inside of CCTV. Now it's a question of what magic can we see come out of Liquid. They've got PSK, Paolo and Moringa left. Moringa again wants small breath and he'll be falling over and going to an untimely demise. So you may as well at this point be saying there's 2 unless he can land a critical headshot.
Paolo just looking to use that Maverick hole on the reverse angle. Won't catch anybody as there's nobody out there. Kamikaze finds the kill. Muzi doubles down onto PSK, 5 versus 1. Paolo has it all to do, can do nothing, Des, as Muzi shuts him down. That's going to be round NIP and Clubhouse's game on now. NIP, they manage to bring themselves back in. They don't let it slip to a full defensive rotation of 3 sites, and they come back fighting.
So well attacked, patient to play and wait around the C4. Didn't get too concerned with what was going on with the smokes coming out inside of Cash itself, and a great peek out from Julio. You were commending him earlier on for an excellent tournament so far and saying, oh, it isn't just down to the usual two suspects in Muzi and Pino to get excited about. There are other players on this team that can step up and do big. And my God, was that the kind of shot you want to see coming out of Julio? And again, the dancing around the Kai, catching him on the push back. There was kind of a weird sort of mirror instance going on through the construction window between Moringa, and I think it was Pino who was playing on that window, just waiting for Sexy Kate to try his retreat back to site, but was never, ever going to make it into construction alive. That's what I've got to really commend these teams for. In fact, there's two things. One, making sure they've got these rotates or pushback points cut. It was the same on Chalet, always someone on the office window to wait for someone to push down past Piano, and more often than not, they would die. The second time is for the defenders. There is always someone within range to support you and help you hold. When you have Moringa playing inside a construction, he was able to contest onto that red triple wall in case a push came through, stalled it out for the most part with the smoke canisters, but was there waiting with the SMG in case someone did try and push into Sexy Cake. All of his attention then could go into the south and the doorway.
Round number 4 then, we're going to be heading back down to the basement this time. Team Liquid won this round back in round 1. It was pretty convincing by the end of things. They had the 3 men committed to the top floor, really went in heavy on that top floor roam, and it did pay off for them, but it's something they need to be cautious of because it does leave them light down on the site itself, and it could be an adaptation that NIP recognise they could benefit from. But for the time being, Liquid are going to hold on to the top floor. Interestingly so far, Des, every entry kill in these 3 rounds has gone to NIP. Team Liquid have been unable to get themselves those advantageous starts.
It always feels like when they do find the entry kills, when you really see them start to go off there with Nesk and Palu, as we've seen throughout the tournament, being the ones to step up and go big. But here, once again, we were talking about the downstairs setup before. A little bit of a replay coming in here for you if you wanted it as well, whilst everything else gets set up in the middle of the round. The game is still ongoing as far as we're aware. And I guess we're back into it. Just in case you want to see someone's face, why wouldn't you want to?
I mean, you know, of course you'd want to. Look at him. So, moving on then. We're 1 minute into the round. We've got no kills so far. We've got Nesk and Moringa still out on the roam. Sexy Cake, I think, is playing in and around bar as well. So there is still a lot of work for NIP to do here. Team Liquid once again able to
sees the man.
Time. He sees the man. The information's there. Pino takes big damage from Nesk, who just dips away. He's taken a big chunk of damage as well, and he's going to look to get himself back down to site. He's just cautious of being challenged from Lounge because obviously that information has been fed out. He does get challenged by the Maverick. Moringa helps to get Nesk back down to the site safely. Julio takes some damage there. He's unable. He tries to get the hatch open to catch them out on the rotate, but unable to do it quickly enough. And that is going to allow Team Liquid to fall back to site now. 2 minutes wasted, and that's not bad, Des.
Couple of close trades coming out though. 4 members on sub 50 HP. One to be mindful of, they could have very quickly turned into kills for either side, and you could be looking at a 5 versus 3 for either side. But as it stands, we're still in this 5 versus 5. Sexy Kate waiting below, C4 in hand. He's daring someone to step into the hallway so the C4 can come sailing out. Up it will go. Pino's close, or sorry, Psycho's close, but not close enough. Steps over. That is an absolute freebie as Psycho runs into the explosion. Down he goes.
Honestly, it is as if Sexy Cake was clairvoyant there, but I think what he's done is waited for the first shots because these floors are opened up in very similar patterns. There's usually, you get the shots above the main door at the bottom of the main stairs, and then the next shot is to take out the default cam, so you know that it's going to follow a few seconds later. With a huge double nitro into Kitchen and NIP. They must be ruining the day that the nitro cell was invented here in round 4, Des.
3 kills coming out in the round, not a shot needing to be fired despite the early scrappy start. It's going to be a flawless round for Liquid. 4-1 they go on Clubhouse. Can I hear anyone saying map number 5 on the way?
Sort of starting to feel that way, isn't it? It's again one of those moments, Des, where we don't know how it's going to go at the switch of the half. We would expect a little bit of defensive edge here on Clubhouse. If you come away 4-2 on the attack, it's not the end of the world, and I'm sure that NIP will be confident, and I'm sure that they have the ability to be able to flip this around once they get onto the defence. But Team Liquid, as we keep saying, are just moving with an energy and a momentum now. Everything seems to just be going their way, Des. You know, when you get 3 nitro kills off 2 separate nitro placements, it just tells you that, you know what, just throw those explosives, shoot at those barricades, because at this point, you're probably going to catch somebody because it's just how it goes sometimes.
One thing I've noticed a lot from the LATAM teams that we don't really see in too many other regions, or at least when I say that, EU and APAC, so call it half of the regions. NA may do it, I'm not sure. The number of times people get into a defensive position and then lie down and just hold an angle on the ground, I think because they're just so attuned to stepping around corners and going straight for the head that you don't always expect to see a man down on the ground. It just seems to be a bit of a LATAM special so far that we've seen happen time and time again throughout the tournament. Not to say that other regions have not tried these like drop shots, if you want to call them that, or the lying down shots, but definitely seems to be something that the LATAM teams do pick up on a lot. My mistake, by the way, isn't 4-1, it is 3-1. Getting a little bit ahead of myself, it feels like.
Excited, Des. That's what you're getting.
Look, Way's giving me the script. I'm reading it out, and he says the next round's going to be 4-1.
Going to 5 maps, so what does it matter?
Exactly.
We know that
and to 30 rounds of overtime as well. You forgot about that part.
There is absolutely no way that you could ever script something like this. This drama, Des, is unfolding before our eyes as Team Liquid fight their way back into it. They've had an amazing lower bracket run. They've had many matches whereby were they to lose, they'd have gone home. There was no second chances for Team Liquid, and right now they're just fighting back from behind. Let's not forget they were 2 maps down, and they have got themselves now back into a position where they are commanding things here on Clubhouse. They are in the lead. They are fighting to take us all the way to the final map, which, Des, will be Consulate.
And picked by Team Liquid.
Imagine a showdown between these two on Consulate. NIP's fortunes have been mixed. We know how good Team Liquid is on Consulate. It doesn't bear thinking about at this point.
I'm just really glad that Coastline was the default map. That was insta-win for NIP. Don't want to see a Coastline. It's just a bit too chaotic for me at points, I think. I like something with a bit more composure, like Clubhouse. Good thing that we're on it. Let's see how this round plays out then. Again, 3-1 to Liquid. They're the ones currently sitting in the lead, and their defensive setup in this round. They've got a bit of a lounge hold on the go, and also one from Bar inside of stock. So playing the majority of the bottom floor, it feels like here, despite being on the upstairs defense. Main thinking here is that you can keep on playing behind C4s if you want to, which they've only got one, admittedly, in the hands of Palu here. But maybe just the fact that you can't plant comfortably without being blasted out from below means that you're forced to come downstairs and take the challenge down here initially. In fact, it is Palu playing on the shield inside of lounge, so that point stands and holds true. A C4 can come singing out at any time if the attackers aren't careful to first get in and look to clear that out.
Sexy Kate just dipping a little bit deeper back into sight. He's going to be reliant on Moringa to just hold off the push coming forward as well. I think Sexy Kate has just relocated himself towards the top of the red stairs now.
I want to give a note towards Pino opening up that single wall, by the way, inside a garage. Previously was where they had the Wamai doing a bit of dancing back and forth, and it took 2 players to pinch him. With all of this wall open up to some extent, Moringa now can't go and play on the catwalk that borders against the wall without being in deep trouble. Someone can just swing him at any time and put him down. He's already being pressured from the spot that he's currently in, but quite simply can't get close enough, which means he's now forced to stay there whilst the push comes in from below. Again, what I really like about LATAM teams is how they commit players, generally in pretty good time as well, to pinching out individuals. That's exactly what they're going for here. Moringa has best start fearing for his life.
Palu pushing down to the garage door there, just looking to apply some pressure. We see this quite often now. Players play out of lounge. Nesk is getting involved as well to just try and help protect Moringa up on that catwalk there. They know how powerful that position is, and they want to keep him locked in. Palu it is to find the opener onto Pino, and that is again another tough start for NIP here as the tide starts to really shift. And here it comes. We've got Moringa still established. Julio, he gets himself inside of construction now, but the kill comes in from Palu yet again. Now then, Julio's got himself in an unexpected position to challenge onto the top of red stairs. NIP are fighting back, Des. Muzi and Psycho find 3 between them. 3 versus 2, 3 versus 1 as Psycho gets another onto Nesk. It's all down to PSK. 1 versus 3. Diffuser going down next to the A-bomb chassis. It's all for PSK. He finds 1. Can he find a second? Yes, he can! Unbelievable headshot through the wall, Des. He knows the last in construction. He goes back in. He's got 30 seconds. He needs to find the man. He won't have an opportunity to disable this diffuser realistically. He's going to try and stick it. Julio's looking to find the angle. PSK comes off. Julio challenging in and gets the kill. NIP close out the round. Julio, as cool as you like, to find the round downed on CCTV and Cash.
Ooh, we still have to round 2. We wanted more of those close rounds, and that's about as close as it gets, Ace. And almost clutch coming back, but Julio, composure, composure, composure in those big moments. He jumped straight through the laser gate. The sound effect going over to the other side gave all the indication for PSK as to what was going on. A naughty spray that he hit through the south wall, by the way, made it incredibly close. But ultimately, it's NIP bringing things up to 3-2 to Team Liquid as we go towards the final defensive site. CCTV and Cash, well, we'll be heading to next.
Some absolutely unreal kills in that round, really was. Muzi and Psycho just saying, you know, enough's enough at this point. We need to get in here and start finding kills, and boy, did they. But then PSK, just it's the next one. It's the next one. This is absolutely horrible. There you go. The thing is, Des, sometimes you've got to take those chances because he knows the diffuser's gone down inside of Cash. Cash door was barricaded, I'm pretty sure of it. So at that point, he knows it's unlikely that the man has moved out of there because the diffuser's only gone down a couple of seconds before. So there's probably still somebody in there. So as I said earlier, when you throw in 2 nitros and getting 3 kills in a round, sometimes if you're on that team, you think, you know what, I'm just going to take a shot. I'm just going to put a few bullets through the soft wall. You know, that's how things are going today. And that is how things went there. And unfortunate for PSK, but what a round from NIP. Got to give them the plaudits there. Julio, absolutely cool, calm, collected, managed to get himself out of the window, back in, wins his one, and that is all you can ask from him.
Whew, okay. NIP showing that they can at least get that 4-2 half, assuming they walk away the winner in this round, is something to be accounted for. And in terms of adaptation between the two, there's nothing really worth screaming about, I don't think. You've got the Mute being set up on the 2 garage walls, again, just to kind of help keep them closed up for a little longer. It's normally where you'd have a Maverick step in and get to work. Once he's done opening up on the East Breach, we spoke about it a couple of times already, start on the East Breach, then look to go in towards something like Construction or Garage and get those walls opened up as well. But Garage feels like it's been the focus for the most part so far, probably because they know they can pinch Moringa inside of there. But again, it's Palu on the downstairs. Keep a close eye on him because last time it was a double kill from this position for him, and he did try to run out of the main door, but the man who was playing on the south side was actually on the south side of the garage and not playing out to the west anymore. They'd already moved on and progressed past that point.
A lot of mute jammers need to be dealt with, but that will be easy work for Julio as there's a drone in the garage pinging out the mute jammers in question. He just applies a little blowtorch hole.
He doesn't know, surely.
Gets them taken down. Muzi has been downed. That is the Zafir out of things. It was a fight with PSK, which PSK has come out on top of. Now, of course, you may not know it. You can certainly be forgiven. The pro players, they don't have the same heads-up display as you would do in your game at home. They don't have the points turned on particularly, so they won't get the notification that a player has been downed in the same way that you might expect. So it is to be forgiven that they're not always aware and don't chase up to follow up on those kills. So that will allow Muzi to be collected back up onto 20 health. 1 bullet from most of the guns at most ranges will be enough to bring him down, so they're going to have to be careful with the Zafir. Important utility, still 2 concussive grenades. That can be used to see if there is a player in a location, for example.
Palu, man, he's been pinched out in so many locations here. They've got the doorway, the front door, garage, a threat. Everything is staring at him, and he almost had a couple of shots earlier onto front door, but they kind of carried on from that point. No way, are they still making this happen, even without the shield. PSK onto Psycho. 5 versus 4, only 50 seconds to play. This round is quickly worn away as Pino steps in and brings down Palu. Finally, okay, 4 versus 4, gets the second. Shouldn't be collecting kills like that for free, but Pino might have just given them a massive advantage. Can he see the last man? Yes, he can! Pino with a triple kill, the unsuspected assailant inside a garage. Should have done enough to get NIP over the finish line, but we all saw how last round almost played out, Ace.
All down to Nesk and Sexy Cake now. Muzi playing out there on the breach. We've got 2 established on the garage catwalk. Kamikaze has the diffuser in hand as well. They haven't opened up that wall onto the server stack. Instead, they're going to move through the single window, I think. They don't really have time to start thinking about any alternative now. Sexy Cake is just constantly throwing those Toxic Babe canisters into the default plant spot. They try to rush into site desk. Nesk finds Kamikaze, but Pino gets his 4th. Can it be an ace? Nesk is on a fraction of health. He finds Pino. He won't have it this time. Nesk wins out again.
How? How? 4 players pushing into him, and he manages to have the clock as the 6th man, as I keep on calling it. stepping up in those dying seconds. NIP, oh, you'll look back at one of those rounds that you rue, that you should not be losing out in that commanding a position. Did we actually, was it NIP yesterday? We criticised a bit for this in one of the replays that you and I were going to look at. In round 8 of their game, they had 3 men left alive, and they said rather than going for the plant with the Capital, it was Psycho.
Psycho on the Capital, yeah, absolutely.
He charged forward to that exact same door, took the challenge with the diffuser in hand and died, the exact same as what just happened there. I commented that they were probably making the call, do we go for plant or do we go for kills? And the IGL has said, we go for kills. They should have got this. Look at his HP. He's got 1 HP left to his name ace. He's got no hope of walking away the winner in that round, but somehow has been gifted a blessing by the sands of time. 4-2 for Liquid on the half. It could have been 3-3. That could prove to be the round that gets Liquid over the finish line and sends us into Consulate for map number 5. I can't believe it.
We can only theorise, Des, as to why they didn't try to put the diffuser on the ground. There was a very similar characteristic to what we described and discussed yesterday. We didn't, unfortunately, have chance to break it down on the telestrator because it would have been extremely relevant now. That was the intention initially, but another round came up that we looked at instead. But basically, my big comment was that the rotation wasn't open. So you normally have a rotation open from the catwalk through to the server stack, which allows the player with the diffuser to get in plant, but that wasn't open. It wasn't open again here today. And part of my thinking is when Sexy Cake is still putting out those Toxic Babe canisters, they're short on time and they know that they can't just dip back through the rotation to get out of the way of it. They don't necessarily want to play into an alternative plant spot, and I don't know how much of a factor that is, but one way or another, Des, for whatever reason that call came in, they were obviously confident, NIP, that they could find those kills, but should this be overturned from a 2-map lead, it's unthinkable at this point. There is a lot of Siege to be played yet, but that will be one of the rounds that NIP look back to.
I mean, for it to happen the same way twice in 2 days, to be in a numbers advantage and to then give it away because of the over-aggressive play, they'll definitely look back and study those couple of rounds if this does go a bit pear-shaped, or even if it doesn't. Imagine they'll still be having the conversation regardless. Nesk trying to catch a couple out early on here. 70 seconds in, he's already trying to press his way down inside of blue. Normally the spot where you would see a Zofia going for the push, but given they've changed things out a little bit here, I don't want to say it's massively uncharacteristic to see a Buck. Normally you see a Sledge because the nade kills from above are a great bit of potential. But I'm looking towards Sexy Cake on this blitz and thinking, where's he going to push? What's going to happen? Right now it appears to be inside of dirt. Should just be able to run at the man that faces him off in a 1 versus 1. The tight turns in here, normally favouring a smoke with a shotgun. But given he's got a shield in front of his face, this could prove to be rough. He'll no doubt have heard the shield, and now they'll know. Smoke comes out for the first one. And now the stall game begins. That's
quick movement from Sexy Cake there. The last thing that you want on a shield in that situation is to have that smoke canister blown up behind you. And that's exactly what Kamikaze tried to do because it leaves you in a tough spot. But Sexy Cake moves in, gets the aggression, gets the kill.
Low.
Takes a lot of damage there. There's goo mines, there's toxic gas there, but none of it can bring the blitz down. Sexy Cake surely going to have to back away at this point. He can't make another challenge like that. The goo mines, they don't do damage on impact anymore. You do have the opportunity to take it out. Surely not. Psycho, he's going to get cheeky. Out goes the first. The shield will protect Sexy Cake that time, but he has another opportunity. He gets the down, gets the kill.
Beautiful.
And in comes another Psycho with a double there. Great play from the Legion.
Oh, the running comes in, but the vertical angle from Moringa. Didn't expect that one to be held so soon and so comfortably. Brings us down into a 3 versus 3, but 15 seconds remain for Liquid. It's all coming down to the clock. It's now or never, boys. The man behind Stack has done a big rotate, and he's killed him. Nesk completely mistimed it. Moringa with the drop doesn't get the triple. Muzi one back. It's a 1 versus 2 for PSK, but sadly you can't beat a C4. It's going to be the round going over to NIP. 4 and 3 we now sit at.
Big round for NIP. I thought that Julio was going to get caught out as he moved out of blue and rotated back into Arsenal, but he swung 180 back onto, I think it was Nesk who was pushing in. He was able to get the kill onto the man anyway, and then it was a little bit of a back and forth trade inside a site, a little bit of a bloodbath, but ultimately it's Team Liquid who suffered, and NIP were able to come away with the round.
This push down dirt was the real kind of make or break of this round, I think. And once Sexy Cake was down to about 1 HP, you were in a spot of bother. I don't think in basically any situation you're going to walk away favorably there, because even a goo mine stepping into, you can't exactly pause and take it out of your foot. Someone's going to be pushing you for a gunfight, and it was great team play. Got to acknowledge this. Psycho was called over pretty much immediately. As soon as the smoke, Kamikaze recognized there was a blitz coming, asked for a little bit of help, got the Legion up there, down came the goo mine, and later on, the Melusi also came over to join. So good flexibility being shown by NIP, not saying, well, I need to hold this angle. Sorry, dude, you're by yourself. No, they are adapting and playing as a team. Great to see, and ultimately nets in the round despite a couple of scares coming out from Moringa.
Round 8, we are in then. And this is close on Clubhouse. As it is going back and forth. That was the first defensive round for NIP. They were able to close it out, and that is the big question that we have here. Of course, Team Liquid coming in with that 4-2 half, but if NIP could better that, if they could go 5-1 on their defense, then they would take the title here and now on Clubhouse. It feels like it's a big ask right now because everything seems to be sliding in the favour of Team Liquid, but it doesn't take much in this game for that momentum to shift, and NIP, they really did look good there. Kamikaze was dealt with by the blitz of Sexy Cake down in the dirt tunnel, but Psycho backed him up. He had the answers. He got himself a big double. Not easy to do in that sort of tight scenario like that, but able to come out on top. 30 seconds in, and Team Liquid just slowly approaching the building.
I'm going to get themselves opened up, but they know there's a mute jammer on the other side of this. I think that needs to be dealt with, in which case Sexy Cake will open at the bottom. They'll shoot it out. It'll be as simple as that to deal with. I think they were being slightly mindful, potentially, of an Electro Claw to come flying over, but it has already been used, both of them, in fact, on Bay 1 and 2 inside a garage. That means this breach will be open pretty much for free. And again, we step into that age-old question. Do they now go for the garage take and look for a plant through there, or go for a more conventional style that we've seen in regions like EU lately, like going over towards construction instead and looking to take control of that?
Looks like PSK is going to be applying an exothermic charge to that hot tub wall, get that open and start moving on for the pressure into construction. To be honest, for the LATAM teams, construction is generally favoured. A lot of them will play into there and try to get that control as well before looking to push onto site. Now then, the kill comes Palu onto Psycho. That is a big start for them. Julio is still present inside of Master, looking to challenge onto this hot tub wall. He can get the angle. It's a freebie onto Nesk as the Sophia goes down. Des, the drone's too late.
It's a little bit careless there, I think, to go charging in when you know you haven't fully cleared everything out inside gym and bedroom. You mentioned about the mistiming on the drones. Just a little bit keen there, I think, on Ness to get inside and start making things happen. We know how much of a monster he can be, but running in like that, not really the kind of play that leads to an incredible ending to the round for your boys. Another vertical kill coming out. One from below, one from above in the round. A drop coming through. Moringa not quite able to connect onto Muzi, but he is down to about 20 HP, so just barely limping his way. Still back onto site here. Liquid have got the control they need. The west is theirs. They've got the east breach opened up. Now they want to start thinking about what looks like an execute, or if they commit to just try and push for these kills.
With 40 seconds, though, Des, it's unlikely they're going to get anybody back onto that east breach. A 3 versus 3, Palu starts to move underneath the map there. He may well make it round in time, but he's not going to be there for long. There's only 25 seconds left to go. 2 attackers now established inside of construction. They need to find some kills to gain themselves some action. Kamikaze looks to challenge. He's shut down as both push at the same time. PSK finding that kill. Can they get the diffuser down?
Oh, the C4.
Nitro in hand. This could be decisive as it sails over, and that's going to put the diffuser down on the ground. But PSK is there with a fraction of health left to start.
Palu, he's not there.
He's not there. He's not on the cover, and NIP take full advantage. Another good defensive round from the Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Another one coming down to time as well. It's unfortunate, but you've got to be a bit quicker on these attacks if you don't want to find yourself being caught late in the round with no other option left but to try and make a plant happen without full knowledge of what is going on around you. It's a good first couple of kills coming out of Liquid. The vertical, one from below, one from above. Beautiful. Catching NIP as they were trying to push around and move through site here, or move back through the map, sorry, to get back to site. A great drop shot coming out, or at least a good attempt, but unfortunately, Muzi just a little bit better. Once they got that entry kill inside of Cash, I thought surely they could take it here. I feared for a double C4 kill. Fortunately, one didn't happen. If Paolo had won that gunfight,
yes,
it could have been a different outcome, but unfortunately, he didn't.
I think even if Palu beats Julio, I think given the final positions there and the time that's left, it's going to be very difficult because you just don't have time to get in and get that next gunfight unless you get lucky and manage to find a long-range angle onto the last defender in the last few seconds. So reasonably unlikely for Team Liquid to have won that one out. As you say, just no presence on that east side. Des Palu was moving over. It was 25 seconds left to go and he was trying to get himself into garage, just trying to establish something to assist that push into construction, but Red Stairs just couldn't be dealt with, and that was the problem.
A little bit of a timeout for Liquid, as you may expect. Now sitting at 4-4, they were at 4-2. That's 2 rounds in a row that have gone maybe a little bit too close down to the wire for them, and unfortunately not in their direction. NIP just bringing out these big moments towards the back end. It's really striking big for them, and although you guys can't currently see it on the screen, I believe they are going to make a 6-pick change here on the side of Liquid. In fact, by the sounds of it, there is a bug that has stepped in, so it may be a rehost that we step into in just a second, unfortunately. Either way, it gives them time to pause and have the conversation. We've seen it a couple of times where these timeouts have then extended into a rehost coming through, which gives the teams a little more time to have that conversation of what's going wrong and what needs to change. Why does he always get massages?
Silence just looking after his players.
Yeah, but it's always like, Sexy Kate doesn't get one. Neska's never got one. Palu's not got one.
The thing is, a player like Nesk and Palu, you probably don't want to disrupt them too much. Whatever aura is going on,
it's fragile. It might just break.
You know, whatever's working works. Just leave it alone. Don't, you know, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Just leave them to it. You don't want to interrupt their space too much if it, you know, knocks them off the stride or anything. But as you say, silence, just trying to transfer a bit of energy into the team, really. It's just all about that, you know, trying to get them in the right headspace there during this pause that we're experiencing. But we'll be back into the game very soon with 4 Alders. Right now, NIP are 3 rounds away. Just 3 rounds separates them and the title of World Champions 2021. Not to mention a little bit of prize money and
$1 million for the winner.
You know,
yeah, just casual.
Little bit of casual prize money there. You know, let's be honest, a life-changing sum of prize money for, you know, a lot of players, and that opportunity to raise the hammer as well. It's all on the line, and that moves us into another interesting phase here, Des. We've spoken already about how important the mental game is. This now becomes a brand new mental game for NIP. They've been in tournaments before. They know what it's like trying to get it over the line, but they've never been in this position of 3 rounds away from just locking it down and winning the Six Invitational. And so we're going to see how they react to that as well. And it's going to be interesting over the next few rounds to see if they can maintain this momentum. Do we see that pressure start to tell? Do cracks appear? Do mistakes creep in? Or can they be as clinical and lethal as ever?
As you can see, Clubhouse boots back in as we get one final look over the incredible venue that these games have been taking place in. We were walking around the top halls earlier and we were saying, wow, it's the last time we'll walk around this. And every single time I turn around and just look behind us and see the stage, the lights, the setup, it's incredible.
I can hands down say it's honestly I think the nicest place I've ever worked. That's it's crazy. I sent, you know, obviously like my wife's in the pictures and whatnot, and I said, you know, like, this is my office for the day, and it's you know,
there's a joke in there somewhere about previous places you've worked and the state of them for sure, but I can't quite think of it right now.
I mean, it's going to be difficult to step up to this sort of venue. It's been absolutely beautiful. The organisers, you know, have done an unbelievable job of putting everything.
You know who I didn't want to be? You can't see it properly on cameras, but at the very top of the hall, and we're talking a good, you know, 10 stories high. There's actually a natural window across the top of the venue that someone had to get up there with a big block out sheet and block out the entire window. Because no, you can't have any natural light in here. Only the lights, the ones that we choose, are allowed in. I would not want to be the person that has to climb that high and make it happen. But speaking of climbing high, the 2 teams are at the pinnacle of Global Siege competition. In case you're not quite sure what the Six Invitational does represent, it is the culmination of a year's worth of play where the 20 best teams this year all come together, and these 2 are all that remain. As Ace put it, 3 rounds separate NIP and lifting the hammer, an opportunity they were starved of last year when SSG, who were down 2-1 to NIP, managed to bring it back, win the final 2 maps and close things out and lift the hammer for themselves. The hammer went back to NA, but this year at least it is guaranteed to be going back to LATAM.
Round number 9 is well underway then. 30 seconds in, and we've got PSK already using
explosive is poisonous
charge.
if eaten. I've never seen that written on a Claymore before. Don't place many of them down, apparently. Don't eat explosives, guys. Forehead.
Don't eat them. Not going to do you any good. Now then, the exothermic charge has gone off on the east wall. That gives access to cache and CCTV. The site, of course, is gym and bedroom this time around for NIP, following their 2 successful defences in round 7 and 8. So east side access has been gained. That forces the defenders out of CCTV. So the south wall windows are up for grabs at this point. It looks like Nesk is out there at the minute. He's just going to be drawn in for his team, but he will no doubt start to apply some pressure in the very near future. But Liquid need to be careful here, because there is an option. If Muzi realises that East Breach is not being pushed, he could step up to that CCTV window and punish Nesk.
That's just it. Once you get control of it, it's not good enough to say, cool, we've opened the East Breach, let's call it a day, and everyone now go and push out to the west. I feel bad normally because it's Habana players that have to do this. They sit on the rappel on the east until like the dying 15 seconds and then finally make their move happen. I think here there is someone on the far back. It might be Nesk who's at least holding out. I think though he's on the south balcony rather than anywhere else. So instead of playing on the East Breach, what they're doing is having him play a bit closer here, still look to contest the window. So it's more the phantom pressure of what if there is someone out on that breach. So Nesk can kind of flip between playing on the south balcony but also looking to cause some trouble.
Oh!
Great C4 comes out and catches Sexy.
Beautiful.
It was almost a second onto Palu as well, but that's definitely going to hinder chances ever so slightly.
Whammer Disc just grabbing a hold of that arrow if you wondered what had happened to it, but it just moves it to another location, detonates anyway, and the flames will rain down on top of Pino, but he manages to keep himself alive. Nesk finds a kill onto Psycho, and this one is well underway now with 50 seconds left to go. We are 4 versus 4. There is utility being expended on both sides as the Toxic Babe canister will push Nesk back away from that south side window. Palu just looking to gain himself an angle from the air conditioning units as well. PSK pushing into site here. This is brazen. He's ready to get himself in and try to get some kills and get a plant down. That is a great start from him, but he will be down by Pino. That is a big kill with the TCSG for the Kaid there. Moringa finding one onto Muzi. 20 seconds left to go, and this could go either way. There's Pino and Julio, last 2 alive.
They can still burn him out here as well. I think have they got no more smokes left. In fact, sorry, no more fire left, but the smokes, yes. Ness finds the one. There's one remaining here. It's Julio by himself. He's going to get put in the dirt. Liquid, they pull ahead 5 and 4. One more round and they guarantee at least overtime. Dare I say those crucial curse words, overtime. If we get there, let's not forget, Max OT, you have to take the 2-round advantage to walk away the winner of a map. That could be a real burner ahead of Consular if it gets to that point.
Well, that's it. It's unlimited. We could go to 2018, Des, in terms of rounds. You know, we could go absolutely anywhere until one of the teams manages to get themselves a 2-round advantage. Now, so far, Des, we're almost sort of heading in that direction. We've seen 3 defensive rounds. Of course, Liquid went 4 and 2 on their half. We've seen 3 defensive rounds for NIP that have gone 2-1. So if you extrapolate that to the rest of the game, you're going to have another 2-1. They're going to go successfully into church, CCTV and cache, as they have done already. And then they are going to move back to gym and bedroom, where you may well see another attacker win. That would be the conditions most likely to take us to overtime. But Team Liquid, they're going to be giving it their all. They're going to be trying everything they can to get one of these next 2 rounds. They are particularly important. If they can get themselves onto that match point, it might just be the swinging decision.
Could be. This downstairs setup. Looking towards the setup for NIP, I'm thinking you're going to see some vertical roaming because you haven't got the Mute Mozzie combo in its entirety, but you have got the Mute and the Vigil. The Vigil, the selfish roamer, as some people have called it historically, some players and coaches, because ultimately you don't bring too much to the team in terms of setup. Your gadget is entirely for yourself. Your impacts are often used for your rotates out and around the map. If you see him in rank chat, he's going to spawn and then just disappear, and you won't see him again until he's dead, most likely. But does have a great capability to waste a lot of time because he is very difficult to drone. He activates the gadget, and suddenly drones can no longer see him. Instead, they get an indication that he is nearby and kind of white glimmers around the side of the screen. They look like barcodes, but nothing's quite going to be able to read on his exact position. You never know which corner he's sitting in, or really if you're going to be able to push him and win the kill. So we'll see what damage Muzi can do here, holding up on the top floor. For NIP, again, it's all about this time-wasting game to force the side of Liquid to use a lot of utility on the top floor, so later into the round, they have less resources, less operators, and less time to make things happen.
Sexy Kate moving over on the Maverick there, taking out the mute jammer, and that's going to allow that hot tub wall to get open now, and the chase onto Muzik can begin. He moves himself down the cash stairs for the time being. Pino drops the oil pit and looks to move back to site, and Muzik's going to challenge onto the main door. I don't think he's going to stick this too much. He's just going to look to play himself onto the blue stairs. He's ready to get himself back to site. He's making a nuisance for a last 15-20 seconds here, as long as he's allowed to, but he's not going to take any serious challenges. He's not going to throw his life away on this. Now, all 5 are back on site, I think, and that will sort us out for the last minute and a half. I think Kamikaze is...
He is in dirt, top of dirt, yeah. Looking to cause a bit of trouble up there, as we saw previously when Sexy Cake had the shield come charging in. Was greeted by smokes, by goo mines, by impact nades, by everything to try and hinder him he could possibly think of, including barbed wire. See if that becomes a thing again, albeit with no shield on side. You're looking more towards an operator just pushing down by themselves. So hopefully more direct gunfights to be taken, although no one wants to be on the receiving end of a shotgun. For the attackers now, it's squaring up and I imagine putting some focus in towards Kitchen. Seems to be where PSK is currently headed. Doesn't want to stand on the soft flooring in case the C4 comes flying his way. We've already seen the triple C4 kills earlier coming out of Liquid when they had the double from one, the single from the other leading into that, and that was pretty much the round sealed and done.
55 seconds left to go, and access being opened up vertically into site now. We just need to be aware that there's still a couple of nitros in the hands of NIP. Pino and Julio have 1 each. They're not really in a position to be making too much use of them yet, but they could be telling, especially from Pino, if this push comes down to the bottom of the main stairs. Angles are all held for Team Liquid. They haven't managed to get any kills as of yet. We can see just shots being preemptively fired through the soft wall there. They will not connect. The push comes in from blue. The challenge onto Dirt Tunnel. Julio uses that nitro for the first kill. Moringa manages to get one onto Muzi, and this is the last 15 seconds of the bath now.
Julio
3 versus 2 as Julio goes big. Triple on the round. The team kill to finish it, and that is going to be NIP fighting on for another round here of Clubhouse.
It's massive from Julio. The C4 to start, and off the back of that, pushes into blue, gets one up close, and then swings onto the man dropping Moto. Pointed his name out a couple of times in this series, and I'm definitely not going to stop anytime soon. Massive round coming out of Julio, and another big one for NIP. 5-5 we sit at. The closest we say we've been so far. Overtime is starting to scream our names, Tim.
Certainly looking that way at the minute. We are guaranteed at least the 12 rounds of regulation time. There is only one of these 2 teams that is going to get the opportunity to close this map out before we head into overtime. Whoever wins this next round will move on to 6 and will have the opportunity for that golden 7th round. It feels at the minute, Des, like it's advantage NIP to me. They've been doing well on the defence. I think they're likely to close out here on CCTV and Cash, and it's all going to come down to Gym and Bedroom, where Team Liquid, they're going to have to win it there.
If you get into overtime, I'd imagine we're going to see Liquid start on the defensive side the way that it was on the attacking side, because as the map picker, you give the choice over to the other side on what side they'd like to start. As you saw earlier on, Liquid opted to start on the defense. The choice then goes back over to the side that picked the map to choose where you start in overtime, and no doubt NIP would have said, we would quite like the defense, please. And given how the defenses have looked so far, I'm in agreement with you. NIP look like the ones who'd be best positioned to walk away the winner. But all is not said and done just yet. Let's see how these next few rounds play out, all the way up to round 12, a 7-5, or is it going to turn instead into potentially a 6-6? We said the confirmation, by the way, Liquid are on OT attack. So that has been locked in. NIP opting to start on the defense.
That's it, and it could be a nice little advantage for them given how we've seen the map go so far. The reason that I say NIP particularly have got a little bit of an advantage here as well, Des, is for Team Liquid to win this out now, they need 2 rounds back-to-back. I think they're more than capable of winning Gym and Bedroom, they've already shown us that, but that would then be reactionary to having lost this round. They need to win realistically back-to-back in CCTV and Cash. If they win here, it's more than likely NIP will give it another go. I don't think they will move to Gym and Bedroom for the final round. So Team Liquid now need to come out with 2 successful attacks onto CCTV and Cash, almost certainly, and we haven't seen them be able to do that as of yet. Now then, Sexy Kick is working on that east wall. We can see that the reinforcement has been dropped off by the Maverick. We can hear the shots of the buck there. I think Moringa just opening things up. Yeah, he'll be on the upside down rappel. He's going to clear that out. There's a line of sight been opened up as well, just to help prevent too much rotation from the defenders inside of sight. Now Psycho's looking to get aggressive here, Des. Just goes absolutely tearing into Garage on that lower floor from Lounge there. In his ADS, ready to make a challenge onto this single door. They haven't opened up the double Garage walls yet, haven't Team Liquid, so Psycho pretty safe at the minute, although he sees the drone. Surely he sees the drone.
He just looks at it.
Surely he sees the drone.
Surely he sees the drone. He'll keep on asking the question until he does actually see it, because I think he still missed it at this point. Yeah, it's active and they've known what's going on. They don't know. I think about the man that's playing under the stairs, though, in the spots that we often call Harry Potter. It's Muzi looking to provide support. Julio with the C4 to start into Sexy Cake. If they just come running in here, this could really come back to sting them, because Muzi might just strike big onto the garage door. PSK finding one back. Kamikaze deploying the smokes in a bit of a panic as we hit the final 60 seconds or so. Here we go. He can strike big. They didn't know about him, and he gets one, gets two. Muzi absolutely ruining the round for Liquid with two big kills. In the 2 versus 4, they've got to do it all, and PSK needs to be so careful. Not careful enough. Muzi, a triple kill. It was Julio in the previous round. Now it's Muzi. Palu has got it all to do by himself. It is looking like a struggle to make anything happen here. That should be NIP going up to match championship points.
35 seconds left to go here. Palu pushes in. He's not exactly sure where Muzi's located. That's a 4K on the round. And NIP take another defense here in round 11. That puts them 6-5. And as you say, Des, that leaves them now with a championship, a world championship point opportunity.
1 round. 3 rounds ago, we said 3. Now we're down to 1. It is the last chance saloon for Liquid to stop their LATAM brothers walking away with the championship. But for NIP, it presents the perfect opportunity on the defense of Gym and Bedroom to walk this to a finish, to lift the hammer, the opportunity that was snatched away from them by SSG just 12 months ago. And finally, they can claim that title as the best team in the world, the one that they've been thinking about since that heartbreaking day in Montreal about 15 months or so ago.
Absolutely, Des. I'm sure that their eyes have been absolutely set on this for the longest of times. They know what it feels like to lose, and today, Des, they might just find out what it feels like to win, but there is a lot of Siege to be played before.
That's one of your new favourite lines. I love it.
I'm all about it. There is. The thing is, this is going to be the longest 3 minutes. You know, you could look at it and say, there's only 1 round potentially. Yes, there is potentially only 1 round, but that 3 minutes is going to feel like the longest 3 minutes of NIP's life, especially if the entry kill doesn't go in their favour.
Well, in the upper bracket final yesterday, we were saying you're counting the seconds as they tick down in the final rounds when, you know, it all comes down to this. Every second you cringe a bit, you wince, you feel the emotion just kind of slipping out of the losing team side as they know that a round might slowly be descending into defeat. And for Liquid here, the clock going lower is pain for them. They're on the attack. For NIP, the clock going lower is jubilation. That's what they're looking for. That clock to hit 0, them to still be standing, Liquid to be not, so they can walk away the victors. Let's see how this Gym and Bedroom setup goes. The last 2 rounds have gone NIP's way from individual members having massive standout performances. Julio with the C4 on the Kai pushing into blue. Muzi, the undroned, we'll call him, inside a garage, steps up big and gets himself a 4K. It's going to take one more performance like that to get them over the finish line.
A strong defense has been put in place for that east side push. It's not something that Team Liquid really utilised last time around. They got the breach open, but then pushed primarily from the west side and were able to come out on top of the kills. But we did have an opportunity potentially that wasn't really used for the man over on the east side to pressure Nesk on the south side windows. This time Pino, he's going to be playing over in cash. The utility is there. They are really sending plenty of men in here, Des, to try and hold on to this east side.
But from Liquid at the very least, committing drones. And they had 3 running around here inside of CCTV just a second ago. Just to identify, you know, what does the push need to be here? C4 comes singing out into the garage window. Moringa dodging away from that one very narrowly, but no health loss, no damage taken. They are being stored up by the smokes, though, at least, so it's something to at least push them back for now. But they are starting to press forward. You've got Ness pressing on one side. You've got Sexy Cake out on the rotate, who could step in at the same time. But there's a lot to do here. One comes out, Nesk going dangerously low, sees the head. It's like, peekaboo, but no one goes down. He's quite low here, and they need the pressure to come in. The frag grenade singing through, but with these 3 ADSs set up, it's going to be danger. He starts taking the burn damage. He steps back through the rotate, and here's the cut from Moringa. 2 kills for Liquid. They refuse to roll over and die. But Ace, we've been here before. We've been in a 5 versus 3, and we have still seen Liquid come away the loser.
It looks at this point like it is advantage Team Liquid. 5 versus 3. Julio steps up onto that construction window. Pino needs to be careful. He's going to lose his life, and that's exactly what happens to Nesk at the top of the red stairs. 5 versus 2. 45 seconds left to go. Palu challenging the south side windows. It's all down to Psycho and Julio. So many times, these players have been able to get NIP over the line. Can they do it when it counts most? Can they do it right now for that Six Invitational title? They've 30 seconds left for the defenders to hold on here. Team Liquid need to be cautious. They need to get moving. They don't want to lose out. He's prone, but PSK is ready for the man and finds the kill. It is now Psycho 1 versus 5, shut down in a flawless round, and Team Liquid, they take us to overtime.
Unlimited overtime at that. We don't know how long this can go on for. In the grand finals, you get your unlimited OT. This could go on for quite some time unless we can break this deadlock wide open. NIP start on the defensive side. As we mentioned, they had that choice as the ones who picked the map. Liquid chose the starting side in regular time. Now we're in overtime. NIP get the choice. They're kicking things off on the downstairs inside of Church and Arsenal. But as a replay here, all credit being given to Liquid. Knew when to push the pressure in. They had these angles set up over both of these teams. I've got to say it's been a delight. There's no round that I've looked at and thought, why the bloody hell are they doing that? Why is that player there? Why aren't they aware of this angle? Sure, there's been 1 or 2 missteps where things like that have really come back to bite them, but it feels like everything is considered by attack or by defense. Angles are covered. The players are supporting each other. This is what you want to see of the 2 greatest teams in the world.
So what is the situation, Des? We are 6-all. 12 regulation rounds have been played out here on Clubhouse, and we don't have a winner. So we're going to head into overtime. And as you quite rightly said, that overtime will be unlimited, where it is normally just a best of 3 rounds. This time out, it will be the first one to 2 clear points. No matter how long that takes, you have to get 2 points clear. We've seen this before in grand finals, Des. We saw it famously between Empire and G2. And it was a hell of a matchup, and so is this.
So many rounds, back and forth, constantly, no one able to get in the lead. One of those everyone looks back on and goes, man, that was a lot of rounds of Siege. I remember speaking, well, Parker mentioned it earlier on, actually, in a little WhatsApp group that we got going on for the event. He was saying, yep, I had to run to the toilet through a crowd of people. And I think it was Happy who asked the question, did you make it? He was like, yes. You're the real hero because no one wants to come back onto the desk ready to pee their pants. Not the ideal setup for a cast, to be completely honest with you. Not the really warm, fuzzy feeling that you want coming into a game like that. Let's see how things proceed, though, in this round. Again, going to be a bit of a roam setup coming out for NIP. Very used to seeing this from both of these teams by now. It's Muzi holding up on the top floor to begin with. Has Pino holding just below. Sorry, I was about to say NIP holding below. I was like, yes, all of NIP is holding below him. Pino to provide a little bit of fire support down near blue. And outside of that, I think it's a case of being cautious. No, oh, Moringa. Oh dear. Not the round to make this happen, buddy. Let's not lie.
Absolutely not. Moringa is downed outside. It looks like he's taken a tumble from just next to the logistics hatch there. You've got to be careful when you're working at heights, and he is paying the price.
Caught in 4K in front of all these people watching.
He gets picked up and will be on 20 health. So not the end of the world, but not ideal for Team Liquid here, who are trying to fight back and trying to take us into that 5th and final map here in the grand final. Right now, NIP, they're all back down on site. Team Liquid, with 1.5 minutes left on the clock, have got plenty of time ahead of them here to start mounting this attack. Moringa, he will open things up from 2 floors above. I'm not sure if he's just doing that for safety or not, given his low health at this point. Desperately wanting to make sure that the book does his job and gets the holes open that they need. For the time being, NIP just holding strong. They've got Nitro in hand. They're ready to challenge, but they're just waiting, Des.
These know exactly how these C4s can often pan out for them. They're getting this hallway completely torn open. But on the other side, you're looking towards the two C4s. Pino and Julio, both with one each. Keep a very close eye on them, because in the right case, or in the right place, sorry, they can absolutely ruin Team Liquid's day, as Liquid did to NIP not too long ago. They have, however, forced them back here from playing underneath the kitchen itself. So with that in mind, they should be able to start getting things opened up here. Going to have the exothermic coming down. Psycho should be the one to step forward with the impact. Can he throw it out in time? No, he can't. It doesn't connect. Just a narrow second before. I think it was slightly misplaced because he was throwing the goo mine up inside of dirt. So that should be the two hatches now being opened up. Kitchen's opened up. We've got Moto opened up too, and stock is open. All three hatches, but Ace, 20 seconds makes me so nervous.
Drone's raining in. Muzi, he's going to have to dip away. Shut down in Moto as PSK was ready for that challenge. It's all about time here. 10 seconds as we move in through the Ash Rush spot. Sexy Cake is going to start getting that diffuser down. Ness manages to find a kill. Palu's on the cover. The C4 is unsuccessful. Des, the Liquid attack, however, is completely and utterly successful as the plant was going down. The final kills rained in, and Team Liquid, they get their first opportunity here. They move on to the defense. Des, one round will lock us into map 5.
Starting off with an attacking win, cannot stress how important that is too, because now they get to go and deploy their style, their flavor of defense that has been relatively successful on the map. Not again opting to bring the Mute and the Mozzie. We spoke about that before quite a few times. Instead, it's going to be just the Mute to kick things off on a Church and Arsenal defense of their own. But we've seen the damage they can do with C4s, and I imagine on side they're going to have 4 of them coming into this site. That's going to be quite simply terrifying when you think about the impact that it can cause. They have a chance here to give us the grand final that we all wanted to see. All 5 maps put to completion. And as I say it, they actually swap away the smoke at the last second for the Mozzie. So just to give you guys that display of what's going on behind the scenes. And look at how close that is, by the way. 2 things. One, C4 got him down to about 18 HP. A couple of pixels closer. That would have been an NIP round. Second, find you a Jackal that can cover you while you plant like that. That's the kind of man that Tim appreciates. I know that much.
Absolutely is. Palu doing his job there and just coming up trumps as he managed to find that kill as the man burst in through the rotation. The Jackal taking him down with the C7. Now, we come in to round number 14, and there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity here for Team Liquid. This is match point for them to close out Clubhouse and take us all the way to their choice, Des, of Consulate for the final, for the final map. There is still 3 minutes that stand between Team Liquid.
A lot of siege, that, Tim.
Distance. It is a lot of siege, Des. It's a lot of excitement. And here's another one for you, Des. I don't know if I can take it.
Are you on the edge of your seat at the same time?
I absolutely am.
How many bites of the cherry do they need to win this one, Tim?
2.
Just 2? All right, cool. I'm sure there's others in there that I've forgotten about, but at this point I need to get a whole dictionary out and start writing a book to get all these definitions written down for the phrases that you love using. No doubt for Liquid looking to throw the book at NIP and teach them a thing or two about how to defend after NIP failed on this site with a very similar sort of setup. It's going to be the opposite coming in. So rather than looking just towards the Maverick to get rid of these Mute Jammers, you see the Kali stepping in here with those Lances, which kind of serve like, I'd say miniature Thatcher EMPs, but not quite in the same sort of vein. They do the same sort of job, can destroy things. They do a more aggressive job, actually. Old Thatcher used to destroy gadgets, now disables them temporarily, whereas the Kali, it will blow up any gadgets that are attached to the wall, but it depends entirely on the positioning of the Electro Claws as to whether or not they are destroyed. You can kind of place them in opposite rooms or rooms that are right next to the one where the wall that you want to electrify is, for example, and they won't be destroyed when those Lances come through onto the walls.
Sexy Cake just being moved away from the main stairs there. Muzi was aware of his location and proceeded with caution. It was all that was needed to force Sexy Cake back down into the site. PSK is going to apply the electrical to the hatch there in Moto. Pino's going to open up meanwhile from stock into the blue corridor. So far, it's been tamed, as it's been tamed. Nobody wants to throw this away, and you can see, you can feel the tension is palpable inside of the server right now. Neither team wants to give the other an easy ride. NIP, they don't want to see this through to a 5th map, Des. They don't want to go through that heartbreak again that they experienced in 2020. They just want to get this locked down.
I'm also eyeing up those 4 C4s as we start getting them thinking about stepping inside a kitchen. Right call here is to start opening the floor first, not once you've got 3 people inside the room, which should force those from Liquid away from being able to play the default spots. My concern, as always, is going to be this death box, as I took to calling it, at the bottom of main stairs. PSK is ready. First C4 comes out, but they're backed away. Smart read from the attackers there to not got themselves caught into this one. In fact, looking as a bit of a rotate away, but it's like playing a game we have to guess which cup the ball's in here. Keep a very close eye on Kamikaze, because he's the one who's holding on to the diffuser. He is going to be pivotal in this round as we enter the next 25 seconds. All the right moves have been taken by NIP, but now they've actually got to execute.
NIP are pushing the blue corridor at the same time here. Julio manages to find an opener onto Sexy Cake with the nade. The pressure's going to mount from multiple angles potentially as this round continues. Moosey's dropped the oil pit. That's where that kill came in from, Des. It's a big play. Julio gets one. Palu fights back. 3 versus 2 right now. It's down to Moringa and Palu. 1 second left to go. Diffuser goes down in the absolute nick of time, but Moringa, he gets a huge kill, Des! He gets a huge kill, and he stops the plant going down. We're going all the way to 5. We're going to Consulate. We're going to find out who really is the best in Brazil.
Who did not see that one coming in the better end of things, but this is what we all called for. At the end of map 2, when it was 2-0, we thought it could all be over in 3, but no, we get what deserves to be here for a grand final, map number 5 on Consulate. And that is the first time we have seen the Liquid boys out of their chair celebrating. NIP, you came in with the map advantage. You know how this felt last year, to be up 2-1, to be 1 map away. It's happened twice, and no doubt, head in hands, they're thinking, not again. It can't end like this again, Ace. We need to close things out here and now, because if not now, it's going to be Liquid walking away the winner. What a potential comeback. We'll be back with you soon. Let's go to the analyst desk to get their thoughts on what has been another thrilling match in this grand final.
What an absolutely incredible map here that we had on the Clubhouse. Going to OT, unfortunately,